Hello, hello everyone. This is Scratch and Jack, your host for the Amazing Scale Modelers Across the Pond Hangout. Amazing Scale Modelers is a Google Plus community of scale modelers of all shapes and sizes, interests, genres, and skill levels who like to share their tips and tricks, learn more from one another, believe it or not, and to learn more about their craft and to celebrate one another's scale modeling achievements. Amazing Scale Modelers, perhaps the fastest growing or the largest community of its type existing on Google Plus. Currently, we have a good number. It's been creeping up slowly, like bad underwear. About 1,980. 1980. That was a good year, wasn't it, guys?
Yeah.
No, it was not. Hang on, wait a minute.
First rate.
Genre.
Well, he doesn't remember it because he was just a glimmer in his father's eye. So.
Excuse me. No, I was born in 1980. I was born by 1980.
Where were you?
5 years old, and I just started junior primary school.
Oh, okay. All right, very good. How you doing, Heath?
Very well. Week
That was
number
a segue.
3 into moving.
You're in the middle of moving.
2 weeks.
13 days.
Oh.
13 days and counting until moving.
Nice. So by the next, perhaps the next time we see you, you're going to be in the new digs, huh?
Cross fingers.
Internet permitting.
We've already made disconnections and connections. I've got the Admiral with me over onto my left, so she's in charge of the USS sinking ship. But I'm just a lowly captain, you know. So again, I join you in the captain's lounge. The Admiral said I had to. I had no choice.
Oh, very nice. This is an interesting perspective we're having of you.
Oh, it'll get better. It'll get better.
Well,
Once I get
what I meant was where we get to see you really in the dark.
I've got the lamp on.
Evil.
I've got the lamp on. I mean, if you can't see me, well, then you're blind.
Heath, it'd be nice to see you getting back to modeling and to your new place. So how you doing,
there, don't worry.
How you doing, James?
I'm doing fine there, Jack. It's been a rather busy week on the modeling front this week. I finally finished the bottom of the saucer section.
Mm-hmm.
And let's just There we are.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
Oh, yes.
what the bottom looks like.
Oh wow! Oh wow! So those little trapezoidal shapes that we know as Star Trek fans as escape pods.
Yeah.
Were they separate or were they printed on there?
Separate.
Nice.
They all had to be installed separately.
Wow. Really? Even the strip along the, even like these long strips, they were all separate.
Yeah, they're all separate.
No kidding.
God's
Wow.
sake.
Wow.
Well, actually, speaking of the Enterprise E, I'm actually thinking of redoing my Enterprise E and doing it the Nemesis colors because the color I've got mine is light grey and I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I might have to get some metho and a nice
Wow.
little bit of
And-
elbow grease.
Yeah, and I've now been starting to work on the upper saucer skin.
Okay.
So the edge is all put on, and this is the first layer
Uh-huh.
as a sort of build up.
Oh my God! It's
Very
as
cool.
I said this morning, James. Who needs to foam and have styrene when you can do paper and just keep on?
Hairpins. You got some hairpins there. That's
Yeah.
interesting. Really cool.
Best clamps I could ever find, those ones.
Mm-hmm.
They work though. They work. You know what, James? Something just came into my head. You know, if you had a space dock type thing, you could actually just put the Enterprise E in there and just, build it up that way. You're a regular Starfleet ship designer. I'm not kidding, James. I mean, that's what they do. They work from the inside out.
Really cool.
This is what I'm starting now, the third layer,
Mm-hmm.
the third rim.
Mm-hmm.
And I got escape pods to get it all going.
Very cool.
Albie or Aldo? Who's saying it?
That's really cool.
James would do
Yeah.
James would do escape pods easier to cut out if they weren't so close together on the sheet.
Pardon, Lou, you sort of broke up a bit.
I'm sorry, those escape pods would be easier to cut out if they weren't so close together on the sheet.
They're not hard to cut out at all. They're not that close.
It looks like you would want to have more room between them.
Yeah, well, I find it perfectly fine because I got to be careful because each one is numbered. Each one's got its own number printed on it. So I got to make sure I cut them out and install them in order because they're all labeled. They've actually got each pod number is on it.
Oh, good God.
If you were to blow one up, you'll actually see the pod number on it.
Yeah. Well, that makes it easier to track.
Yeah.
James, I don't know why. What possessed you to do a 1/1000 scale enterprise Z in the first place? That's my question.
Why not?
Dedication.
Why not? There you go. Why not?
Because
Why not? Oh,
because the paper is there, Heath. Because the paper is there.
Oh, okay, all right. I'll just shoot myself in the foot. Bang! There we go.
If you've ever built a flying model aircraft, like an RC aircraft, you should be able to build this.
Oh, really?
It's the same
Never
procedure.
built one.
Okay. It's the same concept.
It's the same concept.
All right.
I wasn't trying to insult you. I was just asking the question.
what James is telling you is that he's 3D printing his paper.
Yeah.
No, that's next. That's next.
I will be 3D printing a stand for this, but that'll be down the line a bit.
Well, maybe because the way the technology is now, maybe you should start printing it now. It'll get done by the time you're done with that model. It does take a little bit to 3D print something, so yeah.
Yeah. It'll take a few hours to do it, yeah.
How you doing, Liam? I haven't seen you in a bit.
I'm fine, Jack. Between illness and travel and work, I missed the last 3, I think. So that's and you know I'm usually a good regular, so I'm apologising now for my non-appearance.
It's perfectly okay. Family's more important than us. That's for sure.
Know. And money. One of the cases was money, so that's another reason for not being it.
Right.
So illness, family, and money. There you go. That's 3 good reasons for not attending.
That's not a good enough excuse, Liam. You're supposed to be on time.
I do my best.
To do with it?
And that's why I've only got this far with this.
Oh, nice.
You can see it's much more smooth than it was. I mean, I'm happy now that I can go ahead.
He's breaking up.
We're all breaking up today, I'm afraid. I think, Lou. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Hear you.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I've continued on with the AMT 1537, and I'm happier now than I was the last time I was on. But an awful lot of sanding and resanding and more sanding. I don't know if this will show up at all or not. But
Liam, you're making me upset. I did all that beautiful work on mine and blaming it broke on me.
It's worth the effort, I think, to get to this stage, but it is a lot of effort, and thank God for.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the more I use that stuff, the more I like it. I had tried the Tamiya soak your sprues in the Tamiya extra thin method, but it caused too many other problems, so I went away from that.
I'm just going to give you a little bit of advice, Liam. That's an MAT model. Many alterations needed.
Oh, I know. I mean, I'm only going to do a certain amount. I won't do everything. I'm not buying third-party parts or anything like that because it just costs too much here in the UK.
I'm telling you right now, Liam, when I built mine, as you probably saw, I did all the beautiful work and everything like that, put it together, and look at what happens.
You pulled a jack on it.
Oh, like
Didn't know where that sentence was going, Jack, but
I did one of my usual Gumtree is the site here in the UK, which will be equivalent of it's not like eBay. It's like you've one in America, which is where people just advertise stuff to sell.
Craigslist.
Like
Craigslist,
Kijiji, yeah.
Gumtree's
Craigslist, yeah.
Gumtree's the UK equivalent. So I scored this box which arrived.
All right, let's have a look what we got in there.
Oh, there we go.
Oh,
You can see this. So.
Oh.
I can't see.
Oh.
I can't see.
Ooh.
blurry.
Goodies.
So my main reason for buying it was.
Yes.
So I got the whole lot delivered for 25
That
pounds.
Oh, that's that's a very expensive kit, that Star Fury.
Now the box it's obviously being stored somewhere for a while.
Uh-huh.
So the boxes aren't.
Is that still got the wrapping on it?
No, it's just no. If only, Heath, if only.
If only, yeah.
But internally, it's untouched.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, right.
Oh, wow.
So I'm happy. That was the reason I bought these. The other stuff that's there, the Enterprise D's been started, the Voyager, the McKee's been started, but the Rio Grande's not touched either. So,
oh, yes.
So not bad.
Last year, original Enterprise under all that?
There's original Enterprise too. No, the guy here, whoever I suspect it was someone that maybe has passed on, shall we say?
Okay.
And the family were doing a clear out because he had done quite a bit of work on the D.
Oh my lord!
Good job.
Oh my lord! Aztec and everything.
Yeah.
We use Aztec and all.
So it's very, very well painted, and it looks like it was all hand painted as well. So it's still in that state, but unassembled. So for £25, I'm very happy.
Oh wow, that is pretty good. You should be happy. Those bottles, the Star Fury alone, even here in the States, is well above $50.
I know the Star Fury.
So Star Fury is very hard to find.
Yeah. It's about 60, 70 pounds.
Then you have those other Star Trek models that in the UK they're horribly expensive to get even individually. Yeah. So you really made out well. Made out very well. But I have a number. I have about 3 or 4 Rio Grandes. I was going to build all of them. Rio Grande, the Ganji, the other ones. Yeah. I'm wanting to scratch build interiors for them. What do you call it? Who did that?
Carwin? Was it Carwin?
Carwin did it, yeah. Carwin did interiors for that. And I think that kit is begging for an interior, definitely. Because the inside of that kit is just so spacious, there's nothing interfering with putting in an interior.
There's the garage.
Yeah, there is a garage kit for that, for sure. I know that, but what's the challenge then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Putting it together.
So maybe that's where I need to start. But I'll explain that momentarily why I brought that up because I'm going to ask you folks for some opinion about what to do next. Mm-hmm. But Lou, first we're going to talk to Lou. How you doing, Lou?
Good morning, everybody. How's everyone doing?
Great.
Good. Very well.
Hi.
That's nice.
That's
nice.
Yeah, we have used our bathrooms. We are all happy about that. Never mind. Go
North Carolina. It's not the mileage and time that's the problem. Working on Ranger.
Oh, your Ranger.
Oh, yes.
That's from
Interstellar.
Interstellar. I've got I've still got the windows masked off. I got all the brass etch in, including all those louvers on the bottom.
Yeah.
And using the brass etch for the windows on the top, which means I had to cut out all of this from the original kit and replace it with the photo etch. So getting that down to the right contours and everything. But it should be done this weekend. I'm just letting the white dry before I peel off the masks. But that's job one this weekend.
Very nice.
Is that it?
Well, yeah, I got two other kits on the table, and that's the Mobius Raptor and the Big Eagle. I'm getting ready to take the parts out and start cleaning those.
Ooh.
Ooh, okay.
Oh, the eagle.
Okay.
That should keep me occupied for a while.
Boy, where do I start? I'm actually between models. I kind of, you can, well.
What are those starships doing on your desk? That's what I want to know. What are those starships doing on your table?
Oh, this? I'll get to that. I'll get to that. Hold you. I'll get to
do
that. Yeah, you know, I was building the Ducati, the motorcycle, and I screwed up. I screwed up the paint on the body, which is the tank, and the tail, the seat area. And I didn't feel like repainting it, as it turns out. Well, I'm redoing a bathroom at my other house. I'm redoing the kitchen at my other house. So for the next couple of months, I'll be doing a lot of that work, which means modeling is going to be very minimal. And so I figure instead of struggling with it, I have my Ducati displayed on my shelf, just like that.
Yeah.
And I like it. I like it partially done like that.
Yeah. That's looking nice so far.
Here, let me bring the camera back down again. I'll pick up the model. I like it the way it looks like this. Just partially done.
Well, what's wrong with that?
It looks like it's ready for a race.
What's screwed up about it?
I figure I did all this work and I'm going to be covering it with body panels? Forget it.
Well, it looks all right.
But I might cut the tailpiece off.
You can put the tank off to the side.
What's that?
What the wheel jack on the back, is that part of the kit, or did you build that?
No, it is a part of the kit. It is a part of the kit.
Looks fine to me, Jack.
I'm going to leave it this way. I like it this way.
Can you make something similar to that?
What's that?
I said, can you make something similar to that framework and put the tank on that and make it look like it's being worked on?
You got a point there. That does sound like a good idea. That does sound like a real good idea.
Make a diorama of a garage.
Yeah, if you put it in the diorama and then have a workbench in there and then have it on there like it's being worked on or something on the workbench.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be actually pretty cool. Yeah. Yeah, I think that just might very well be a good idea. But I would have to put the tank on, I suppose. But that's the part that I'm having trouble with the paint. I don't even remember what I did. I really mucked it up. I can't recall what I actually did. And I tried to...
Can you make it look like you're working on the tank? You've taken it off to work on the tank so that the tank isn't painted?
Oh, that's actually an interesting idea. It could be done that way. Yeah, I mean, thanks for the ideas. That's not what I was actually going to ask you about, but yeah, that's a good idea.
Okay, so what have we learned about Jack?
I've been between models. Is like what?
What have we learned about Jack? He can't build starships, and now he can't build bikes.
Well, that's not exactly true. I can't build a specific starship. I've done the Lantry. I just didn't have the decals where I did the Lantry.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Well, anyhow, it's just a particular one. But,
does this particular one start with an E and ends in an E?
And ends with an E?
It has USS at the beginning.
Can you press for opinions, Jack.
It's named after a car rental company. Yes,
Yeah.
that's the one. Dump between models, and that's part of the question that I have is, should I build a Starship? Maybe even scratch build a 350 scale.
Oh no. The Ares.
This would be a scratch build. This would be relatively easy, I think.
I know where you can get a model of that, Jack.
What's that? Huh?
I know where you can get a model of that.
I'm sure. I'm sure. Where can you? Where can you?
I bet you Alex got a stack of them. I bet you that Alec has a stack of them that he can't get rid of now.
Oh, really?
Well, yeah, Paramount
that was
is high.
Yeah.
That was what?
That was part of the reason why they got sued.
That he made a model?
That he was selling models.
Oh.
That he was selling them.
Is that the whole reason why they
No.
that CBS and Paramount are suing Axanar because they made a model?
No, it's not the whole reason, but it's a good chunk of it.
Really?
Oh, for God's sake.
So he's got a whole bunch of kits that he can't get rid of, is what
No,
you're saying?
they were making.
Huh?
I am guessing he's got a whole bunch of kits. I don't know what his production was. I know that one of the things they were doing was offering those kits for sale.
Well, with the Patreon, what I saw with the Patreon thing for Axanar is if you donated a certain amount, you'd get an Ares kit. I mean, that's all I remember. But you'd get it. You wouldn't be paying for it. You would receive one.
That was it.
Well, for everyone who's watching,
that's kind of the way around it.
Well, let me just bring everything up to date. I'm sure there's people watching that have no idea what we're talking about. There have been a lot of fan films made in the Star Trek universe. And Axanar is probably one of the biggest budgeted one. They've got a couple million, from what I understand, $2 million to make this movie, and they got donations for this couple million they have to do this movie. They were building the sets. They've got everything. And if you go to YouTube and put in Axanar, Axanar, you will certainly find all kinds of stuff about it. And this is what this is before the series. The story takes place before the original TV series from the 60s. And this is the ship that they come up with to fight the Klingons. And so now I'm going to ask you, Lou, if you know where they are in their suit against CBS, who owns the TV rights for Star Trek. So
well, they've been sued and been told to stop. And Alec was trying to get them to clarify what it is exactly they were infringing on, and they came back with a 45-sheet brief that says, here are all the things you are infringing on, so stop it. And that's the last I've heard of it.
Well,
Went
that's
astray
kind
from
of hypocritical, because there have been buttloads of very well-funded fan films that were done. So they've even done the original pictures, for that matter.
Jack, it's not hypocritical once you understand what's going on with it, because where Axanar goes astray of other productions is in how they disperse the funds they get. If everything was only going into the production and making more episodes, that would all be hunky-dory. Where they went afoul is that they used the profits for they used the proceeds for other profit-generating enterprises, for lack of a better term. They boasted of making a studio, creating a studio that they will use for other profit-making features, and that is expressly forbidden.
Well, you may agree or disagree with that, but
the
it's kind of silly. I don't know.
But now, what I've read is now another Star Trek fan film has been told to cease and desist, and that is because it's in the NX-01 era, in the Enterprise era.
It could be, Heath, you could have a very good point there. It could be in a question of they are starting to get in, and it could be the same problem with Axanar's bit, is that they are stepping onto stories that CBS themselves want to do. CBS themselves want to cover. Now, I think, and this is just me, I'm not speaking for anybody, I think it could be the reason that people like Star Trek Continues aren't getting hassled is because they are doing stories about Kirk, Spock, and McCoy in the original era that CBS has no interest in ever revisiting. So that's not going to confuse the viewer with CBS's own product that may or may not take place in the motion picture era or in the post undiscovered country era or the next generation era that some of these other fan companies aren't touching. But this other one that did get the cease and desist this week or got the friendly notice, I think they're doing movie era stuff. And that may be treading on something that CBS themselves wants to do.
What I've read, Lou, is that it's the Horizon. Star Trek Horizon's the one that has got the cease and desist. Right. Because they're dealing...
But what era does the Horizon...
NX-01
What era does the Horizon take place?
Enterprise era. Like Jonathan Archer and T'Pol and all that.
Okay.
In the 22nd century.
Okay. It's possible that CBS has an ongoing interest in doing shows in that era. That could be as simple as that.
Yeah, I mean...
But that's the thing. Now you're talking about eras, so to speak, in the storyline, and I don't know. I had a thought, but it kind of leaked out of my head, so it wasn't important. And I think the whole thing is silly, kind of, to be honest with you. But that's what I wanted to say. Okay, the J.J. Abrams universe. Which every Star Trek fan hates. We're talking about the older folks. We're talking about the old guard, but was wildly popular among by the millennials. Liked it better because it was less intellectual. What does that say about millennials? I don't either. I don't either. But I hated the second movie because it was come on, can't you come up with anything original type of stuff, you know?
Yep.
It could have been any other name of another villain, and it wouldn't have mattered a difference. It would have made better sense to make it a different villain as opposed to... That's the only problem I had with it, actually. Otherwise, it was a lot of fun, particularly the opening of the movie was a lot of fun. It was very... It's what Star Trek should have been.
Well, I'm going to watch the new one before I write off the new universe completely, but... I think they're getting closer and closer to what their movie should have been with this to start with.
I agree. I agree,
well,
and I think
things about Star Trek Beyond. I've heard a lot of good things about Star Trek Beyond. The third one.
Well, I'm just so the question I had, bring it around, is what do I build next? I certainly have enough kits downstairs in the basement. But don't make it too hard on me, guys. So what do you think? I'm thinking of doing the E, Enterprise E, only because James is doing one. And I'll be doing the 1400 scale plastic kit, of course. See how that... How far away are you in doing that? Because I would have an awful lot of windows to cut out if I were to go in that direction.
You know what I think, Jack? I think do the E.
Do the E.
It's a very easy build.
Well, I'm going to talk to you more about that kit, Lou, but I am interested in that kit then. I didn't know there was a kit. So I will do the E then. Because the next build is having a vehicle that does not use wheels primarily to move around.
Jack, are you interested
seen in movies and TV, and I think that would take care of everything.
What size are you interested in? I mean, physically, what size? How much room do you have to build?
Oh, I want to do a 350. I want to keep with the 350 scale.
Well, if you think about it, the 350 scale.
Okay, well,
350, I measured out to be overall 640 millimeters. That would be about 25 inches, 25 and a half inches.
The Aries is a little bit smaller than the Enterprise. The Aries is just a little
well,
bit
350
smaller.
will be
a lot smaller.
25 and a half inches, and the Enterprise will be 34 inches.
Yeah.
I think the Aries is smaller than the Enterprise, isn't she, Lou?
Yes.
I believe that it was, yeah.
It's shorter. It's shorter, and the saucer section is a bit smaller.
The saucer was smaller. The saucer was smaller. The nacelles were shorter.
Engineering shorter.
In fact, it looks like what they've used is they've used the Enterprise B. What it looks like to me is they've used the Enterprise B saucer. Just cut out the two impulse engines and just sort of like put it on top of a C secondary hull or something like that. I don't know. But it looks like they've used the B saucer section. I don't know. I could be wrong.
Well, anyhow, I think
Jack,
that's.
Hold up the
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Can you hold up your schematic again of the Aries?
Yeah, my printer is a little off, so it shouldn't be green. It should be gray.
That looks like a.
Enterprise B.
I would say, well, it looks like a regular saucer.
I got this. I also have this.
Aha, here we go.
Yeah.
Oh.
There's the Enterprise. There's the Aries.
There's three next to that. So it is the same size saucer. I thought the saucer.
No, it is smaller. I mean, if you took a ruler to this, it would come up smaller, probably by almost, I'd say between 5 and 10% smaller.
Well, the original Enterprise was 352 meters long.
The other incarnations, like this one here, and these all are the same. The saucer section is the same size as the Enterprise.
Yeah.
The way it was explained, there was what do you call it? Who is it? Trek Yards.
Trek Yards, yes, I watched them.
This guy does an amazing job at being very geeky about these fictional vehicles. He did do a video on. He took one of the cast members, I think one of the people behind Axanar, and talked about these ships and how it would be built. Even today, it would be modules that you would assemble together for different configurations. So because you're building modules, there's no extraneous expense or time spent on creating different configurations for different purposes, because if you're a fan of these things, you understand that the configurations of these ships allude to their function, their overall function. Like the heavy cruiser, as we know as the Enterprise, it was built for deep space exploration that had formidable defense systems as well as offensive systems. So it's all very interesting if you like to get into technobabble of stuff and in your model building. But certainly if you were to create something to do these models, you would make prototypes of the various components and make molds of them and continue with it. That's
Trek Yards is great. I've subbed Trek Yards, and it's a very informative program, especially if you want to.
I'd say it's a very geeky. No, I mean he does a phenomenal job if you get into that geeky techno stuff.
Well,
and by watching that, you'll see that in the Star Trek universe, these ships did have very particular purposes, and there's a reason why they're configured the way they are. And it's for some. I've even heard some people say who are Star Trek fans, it's a little too geeky for them. It's really out there.
Yep.
They come up with all these things that you'd say, well, it would be nice if it were possible, but it would be similar to listening to somebody making a comparison between a Chevy Camaro and a Ford Mustang type of thing. As to what's better, what's the technical skim. It's all that stuff. I mean, there's car lovers who do that.
Nothing wrong with that.
So anyway, that's why I asked you guys is to, well, you know what? I'm kind of busy doing other things. What would be a good idea to build? So I think a ready kit would be a good idea. Huh?
How intricate do you want to put lights in it?
Oh yeah.
You're gonna.
Well, I got to put lights in it and upstage James.
Yeah.
Mr. Competitive. That's what we should call Jack. Mr. Competitive.
I need to upstage James. I mean, come on. It would be nice if he lit his.
Wait, you see my back?
James?
What I want to know is, have you applied yet, James?
Pardon?
Have you applied yet?
Applied.
Have you applied? Have you entered? Have you put your name down on the list yet?
What's that?
They're going to shoot the new Star Trek series in Toronto.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it doesn't sound enthusiastic. Oh yeah. Oh dear. Okay.
Oh well.
Well, anyhow, I really appreciate your folks' opinion because I don't want to spend time thinking about it. I just want to build when I can build.
I'll tell you what, Jack. If you think your E is going to be good, wait till you see my Batwing.
The one I sent you?
You better believe it.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that.
I'm going to light that sucker like you wouldn't believe.
Oh, I didn't realize it would have been lit up.
Well, look, I'm going to be doing my Enterprise 350. I want to light my 350 Enterprise. Like, who doesn't? Who doesn't want to light their 350 Enterprise?
There's a lot of people don't want to.
Yeah, I know. But I'm one of those guys that want to. I'm one of those guys who want to actually light it, and I've got to learn how to do the lighting. So I thought, okay, I'll light up my Batwing.
I didn't realize that the Batwing would be lit up.
Yeah, it's got lights at the end of the wings. You got 2 lights, and then you got the cockpit, and then you got all the weaponry.
Okay.
I mean, you got the Gatling gun, the 2 Gatling guns that come out the side of the pods. You can actually put a couple of fiber optics in there and just make it look like it's firing. And there's jet engines in the back. They're like the engines are like a F-22 Raptor. They're like that. It's all like, instead of having them round, they're like slits. So you could put like, you could do about, with fiber optics, you could do like, put one fiber optic string into one part of the slit, and you can light it up. And then of course you got the navigation lights on top of the tail, and the cockpit, and then Batman himself. But you're not gonna like Batman, so it can be done with fiber optics.
Well, yeah, I have used fiber optics. They're a lot of fun.
Nice.
I want to talk to Liam about this.
Boy.
Oh yes, yeah.
When I first saw this, I'm like, gosh, that is such a clean hobby shop. It's like, it's clean, orderly. That's not how I'm used to seeing hobby shops.
I was in Birmingham last year and I could not find the shop. I only had about a half an hour, and I searched and searched, and I could not find the shop because Google was leading me astray. But we were in Birmingham this week again, and I told my wife that it's a priority. I want to find the shop. And it's Ian Allen bookshops in the UK have been going for years. And any book you want relating to a tank, a plane, a ship, they will probably be a reseller for it. They do mail order, but they still have quite a few stores, which is unusual. Their prices aren't the lowest, but at least they have the stuff in stock. This place is about 100 yards away from the big railway station in Birmingham, and you could spend hours in it easily. The first picture you showed is the railway section. I mean, it's not of my interest. It's enormous. That one, yeah, it's all tracks and power, and you can see at the end book after book after book. To the left, the only thing I didn't take a picture of to the left is a display cabinet full of dinky toys, that we call them.
Corgis.
Well, all that sort of metal cars, the ones that come pre-built.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, larger, but they have everything relating to books. I treated myself to one book, which I had seen online, which is, I don't know if you can see that.
Hold on.
The Eagle has landed.
There we go.
Okay, which is it's a Spanish guy called Aitor Askew. It's a very strange name. And this is an AK interactive book, and I'll show you the type of stuff that's in it. An example. It's all about building dioramas.
Oh, nice.
Oh, wow.
But it's just crazy. The stuff, the detail, it covers every aspect, both aircraft, tanks. I'll show you one specific one if I can find it quickly. This is the one. This is impressive. This is the kind of thing Phil would be doing. This is a crashed Heinkel HE-111.
Oh.
I don't know if that's reflecting or not, but he's got water in it. He's got the crew. He's got the ship. He's got the aircraft all being damaged and so on. And the amount of time and effort, it's just crazy. But it was an expensive book. It was £37. But it's 300 pages, and you can see the sort of finish he's got on his aircraft.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
It's amazing. But so I shall enjoy reading that this week. It's not often I buy a book. I tend to get PDFs of books these days, but when I saw that one, my drooling was too much. I had to stop and purchase it. Funnily enough, they had sci-fi and fantasy modeler. That magazine?
Uh-huh.
They had all of those, but they're all £16-17 each.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
And the specific one I was interested in is it issue 26, Lou, is about building the refit Enterprise, I think it is.
Yep.
And
26.
It was good, but it wasn't as good as I thought it would be. I looked at it and perused it and thought about it, but I ended up going for that book of preference. But quite a selection of kits, definitely. Prices to stay where
I saw an Antonov 124 there in one of the pictures, like the world's biggest aircraft.
Yep.
There it is.
Yeah, bottom left-hand corner.
Yeah, AN 124.
I have a very odd impression about hobby shops in the UK. The way it's arranged, but of course with a shortage of space, the shelves are high. But here in the States, there's a franchise called Hobbytown. And Hobbytown, I think, is much more into RC than they are into static models. However, they do have a very good selection, and my impression with hobby shops in the UK is there's a pretty big emphasis on aircraft and military vehicles.
Yeah, although the nearest store to me, which is quite close to where Randall Scott lives, his main business, his big part of his sales is RC, but he still allocates more than half of the store to the modelling side of things. I think he just realises he's catering for everyone, but the RC stuff is where he makes his profit and keeps in business because of the RC stuff. And railways is coming back big time.
But even in a hobby town, there is an aisle with this military stuff, mostly Tamiya kits, very expensive. I saw very small scale military stuff, but interesting though. They have a lot of Gundam, which is very interesting. They also have a lot of commercial aircraft, spaceships like the Apollo, like the Saturn V, the Dragon 70. What is it? The 72 scale, is it?
Yeah.
The thing is enormous. The box is like,
yeah.
it's like a huge box.
About 3 feet
And
tall, yeah.
I don't know. It's just that my impression of anybody who's shared pictures from a hobby shop in the UK, it's very, very heavy on aircraft, and I find that interesting. Why do you think there's a popularity? Yeah. Why do you think there's a popularity more so in the States?
Well, I mean, if you were to ask a model shop owner, you'd probably say the biggest seller would still be World War II, Battle of Britain,
Sure.
Royal Air Force and Luftwaffe. That's where the market is.
Yeah.
Then
Right.
some people, and that's where we all grew up. Perhaps the first kit we probably got was an airfix kit of a Spitfire.
Mm-hmm.
That type of thing. So there is that historical thing. An aircraft here, I mean, Rant was a member of the Ulster Aviation Society. It's still a very popular subject. The aircraft would rule over everything else. Military second, and then ships third. And anyone who does RC, I mean, my brother-in-law has been flying aircraft for radio-controlled aircraft for over 30 years. Not in the least bit interested in model kits. No interest at all. So
Now that you mention it, I think when you said that when you're a young child getting into adult gets you into a model, they get you a model of the Spitfire, usually an aircraft. Here in the States, it's much more of a car.
Yeah.
When people think of scale modeling, and here in the States, they think of model cars.
America's more of a car.
We're talking about the muscle cars, like the Camaro, the Chevys, the Mustangs for the Fords. I think cars are so much more popular here than perhaps aircraft. That's just an impression I have of American scale modelers. But yeah, the first model kit is a car.
Yeah, that's fair, Jack. America has the car culture.
It's very much a car culture. Yes,
well,
exactly.
Over here in Australia, the most popular models we've got two. They are cars and aircraft.
So you're saying it's a divide between the two. It's a divide between the two.
I find it.
I only know a couple of people at this very moment who are building a boat, like a Navy vessel. One of my friends is building a 1/350 scale Bismarck. Another friend of mine is building a 1/350 scale Tripits. And another friend of mine is building another one that's really big, is Star Trek. It doesn't matter where I go, these hobby stores, there's Hobby Habit where I normally go to, there's another Hobby place just down the road.
I like that name, Hobby Habit.
Yeah, at Hobby Habit.
So funny.
Yeah, that brings the addiction down to a more palatable term.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
right now we've got two different styles of 350 scale Enterprises. We've got the refit and we got the toss. Plus we got a Romulan one. We've got it's huge.
Well,
Star
how
Trek
about
Star Wars are huge.
I've noticed that when I go into one of my hobby shops and the young people come in and look, they go instantaneously to the car models.
Interesting. I was about to ask what the polite, self-deprecating Canadians do. They do what Americans do, car models. I thought that's what it would
especially
be.
the youth, the younger models, the older ones are into the military vehicles, whether it be airplanes or armor and all that. But the kids, they go straight for the car models.
That is so interesting. That is so interesting. Tell how our cultures are so much the same between Canada and the U.S.
Yeah.
But you know something though, in defense of people in the UK, I do not a defense necessarily, but a reasoning as to why they would go for the military plane and military vehicles, is because World War II had a huge impression on British culture and the psyche. And they would like to build those things that made them proud during the war. That just makes sense. Whereas the pride and American pride is really set in their cars. A car culture is definitely a way to describe it. They made them big. They made them gas guzzling because America, the United States, is a large country area-wise than the UK is. So, of course, you had to get in your car and drive across the street. That's what you did. That's what you do here. And it's really funny seeing videos in like places like Amsterdam and maybe even Berlin. They think Americans think everything is big. Well, everything is big. They just live in a small country.
Yeah.
Yes. Things are closer together.
You've been to the U.S., Liam. Your impression is like everything is far apart here.
Yes. Yes. Although I have driven, I mean, the last time I did 2,800 miles in 3 weeks.
Oh, wow.
You know, and I find driving in the States far handier, easier than driving here.
Yep.
You haven't got a roundabouts.
The roads are wider too.
Yeah, well, not everywhere, but most of the roads are, yeah.
Well, the interstate. I'm thinking more of the interstates, the highways.
I drove from Las Vegas to what's the place in California that no one goes to?
Death Valley?
No. I've been there. No. Sugar.
Where do people drive in California not to go to? Okay.
Between Las Vegas and if you were traveling towards San Francisco, there's what's it called?
Oh, the Yosemite?
No, way down in the south of California.
There's the Hoover Dam.
No, that's not California.
There's a place in Nevada called the extraterrestrial highway.
I know what you're thinking of.
Rachel.
But well, I can't remember the name of the town, but basically I had to drive there, and I was exhausted one day, and the road seemed to get narrower and narrower and narrower. And it was a case of, I want to get to the hotel soon because it was sort of scary. It was back to our type of roads, but no, it's a different experience. Even parking a car in the States is like the car parks are so huge you've no problem. Whereas if you ever make it to France, you will not want to park a car in a French car park. It is insanity. Who needs to open the door to get out of the car? That's not necessary. So.
Curl in the back and come out of the hatchback in the back.
Yes. Go for the yeah. But no, crazy. We're all different.
Yes, that's because of where we live, and I just found it very interesting because that's the first thing I observed when you shared those pictures. Is boy, there's every picture I've seen. There's an emphasis on this stuff. Yeah. Good reason for it.
And that for a UK model shop, that place was enormous. It was huge. We usually have these 10-foot by 12-foot stacked floor to ceiling places, but that place was big, and it seemed to be. Sure. They had 3 staff, which is unusual as well. Most model shops you go into, it's one man behind the counter on its own.
Yeah.
But
wait till you come over here. We all drive on the wrong side of the road.
Yeah, well, so do we.
Well, how was
the wrong
that?
side?
That's the same thing for you, Liam. You had to drive on a right-hand side road. Isn't that odd?
Well, I drive on the left.
Yes.
So do we.
Here in the States too, huh?
Just because it's called the right side.
Maybe that's why he drove
the right side. Yeah.
Well, our steering wheel's on the right side.
Yeah. I find it easier to drive in the States. I have to admit that. It must be my brain as a left brain or something or whatever it is.
Yep. Well, finally, I feel kind of vindicated on this.
Not by me tonight.
You get a few things right over there. A few things.
A few things. There's somebody missing here who's a usual. It's Bob Busking.
Bob? I was about to ask, where's Bob?
I don't know where Bob is, but this is where Bob is. He's sharing. What I'm finding interesting about this is the color. Perhaps you Star Wars fans can enlighten me as to why the color is black.
Because that's the color his ship was.
Huh?
That is Poe Dameron's X-Wing.
His ship was black.
Oh, was it? Well, why would you put orange on a black ship? That just makes it more visible.
Because he's styling.
He's styling.
He's smiling.
And Bob made the background too, very cool. The spattering paints making it look like stars. This is actually
I think that's the same one from his Leif Erikson.
Yes, it is. I just find this to be a very cool build. And there's scuff marks on this, making it look like it's been used. It's not new out of the shop.
Nope, that's pretty faithful to how it looked.
Yeah, for sure.
These panel lines are very visible. He's I have a sneaking suspicion he's actually
He's got
a good
a future, that kid.
What's that?
Yeah, he's not so shabby, that kid. I'd keep my eye on him.
No, I enjoy every time he posts. I actually open this up and take a look. Yep, not too shabby at all. And he certainly has a very particular, as you would call artist style, you know, the way they express their art. Bob, when you see Bob's models, you know Bob made it because he has a very distinct style to him. And that tells me he's an artist. He's not even so much a model builder. Really cool. Nice. That's really fun.
Is that the Reveal kit? Probably is.
Yes.
Yep, it is.
Yes, it is the Revel kit. I got pretty close in buying it, but the thought that crossed my mind is I have a basement full of models, but then again, that should have stopped me anyway.
That really shouldn't stop you, Jack.
It never seems to make much difference to me either.
So now I'm gonna share an alpha. Who did this? Patrick Roth. And of course, my fan favorite is Mike Bassford made a comment on it. It just says outstanding, which it is. This build is really cool.
Oh, nice.
Look at that.
Look at that.
Let's see, get that out of there.
35 Ferrari Formula
Oh boy, that's close. All right, I just want to get close to this. He's got some metal in this, it looks like. But maybe that's just a good paint.
It's a 35 Ferrari Grand Prix car.
It's on the
See,
kitchen counter next
that's
to
what you should do with your Ducati.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Yep. And you know, this is a thing that leads me to believe that scale modelers have two cutting mats. My cutting mat looked like that before I started building its first model on top of it. It don't look like that no more. Really cool. Yeah, I gotta put. Heath had sent me a Formula One car. I should get around to building that, but I'm kind of intimidated. It has a lot of parts to it. Lots of parts to it.
Oh, they do.
There's a lot of parts to that, so I'm going to save that for when I'm in the insane asylum and I have nothing else to do.
But they won't let you have the sharp object then.
What's that?
They won't let you have the sharp knife.
Okay, let me write this down before I forget, because I got to do a description of this hangout, because I never know what we're going to talk about. People think I do this preparation, and I want to keep them believing that. Gosh. So.
We don't seem to be breaking up as badly as we were. Thank goodness.
No, you're coming in like crystal clear. I can see every hair follicle on your head.
I think the bandwidth's improved in the last little while.
Let's see. Oh, yes, yes. This is what James. This is what Liam was talking about. And let's share.
It's had a bit more done to it since then, but
Boy, this zooms in really nice. You did a really good job sanding all that stuff down. How much sandpaper did you go through?
ridiculous. Well, I changed over to using these nail files, the soft foam nail files, because the ordinary sanding blocks. When I started off originally, I was using the big 4-inch sanding blocks. I went through.
What, you didn't start with a palm sander?
You know what? That actually looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
The way it is.
It does, sort of, yeah. What I originally wanted to do was I tried filling it. I tried filling it with like a Chiar filler, but that just seemed to cause more problems than it was worth, and I ended up then removing a lot of that, rescribing some of the lines. Then I changed over to the plastic putty, between the perfect plastic putty and a combination of that and a primer. So basically, it's just over layers and layers of what I have to do on that. I have to still scribe out some of the things that aren't meant to be filled in. Like that's where the phasers were. So I've taken those off completely.
Oh yes.
And I'll redo those.
Yeah, this is where the phasers were, right here.
And the escape hatches as such, I'll have to rescribe those, and the thrusters need rescribed. But it's getting there. The only thing I regret doing was I painted over the impulse crystal at the back, which was a mistake. I'll have to use some kind of remover because I'm going to trans-illuminate it from underneath. I haven't bought any of the clear parts. I'm just going to go for a trans-illumination of the white plastic.
The complaint I have on this kit is not even so much the stupid Aztecing they imprinted on it. It's that the upper decks is too big. There are kits to correct that, and you can shrink that by maybe even by 10%. It would work, but it's awful large.
It's sort of, I'm doing it as a practice run for. I may do the Reveal TOS Enterprise then after this one. Although it suffers from the ridiculous grid lines as well, so unfortunately.
Yeah, that's what you're showing earlier. All that sanding. Wow. That will be not so much me when I do the E. For me, it'll be cutting out all the damn windows.
Yes.
Because I would still have to cut them out to even block them out as black.
I would recommend getting a micro diamond file set, Jack. You get the really small ones, and it makes an enormous difference when you're doing the windows and things. That's a triangular one, and then there's various different other shapes. There's a flat one. That one, it's just flat and.
Yeah, I do have files like that, but most times I even fold a strip of sandpaper in half and use that as a file.
Yeah.
Because at some point the file might be maybe too hard. Well, I can't use a file.
Those windows were done using that file. Yeah. So that's completely different from the windows that were in the kit originally.
Yes.
But I dare not get any thinner with it because I'll end up breaking the plastic. But
right. And boy, this is the first time I'm going to be sharing anything of Ken McConnell's. He gets really off on on different kinds of builds. I'm not even sure what he builds, but he does a lot of scratch building. But I'm going to share this, and it's the only picture that he posted. Shame on him. I like pictures. Is a cockpit.
Cockpit, yeah.
Yeah.
Very good. Let's see if I can zoom in. Oh, there we go. Yeah, this is how I see in the museums what the instrument panels look like. Yeah, I wish he would have had more pictures. This is the only picture he had put up.
Well, apparently he's going to be converting. It's I guess it's a Hawk or Hunter cockpit, but he's going to be converting it into one of his starships.
Yeah, that's what he does. There's no point of reference for me when I see his work, but his work is good from the surface, paint-wise. It's good, very good. But I don't know. It's just I can't. There's no point of reference for me on that.
Well, it's all based
here
on his novels, yeah.
Yep.
On his novels, yeah, I did read one of his books. He's good, but you have to like his type of stories and writing to enjoy it. He's very, very particular. He is good at what he does, but I don't see him being a major market writer because the things that he writes about is very particular. A lot of science fiction for one, and a made-up universe for second, and three, he just the points of references that he uses in his novels are points of reference that aren't very not in this universe. So you really have to dig his kind of storytelling to like it, and he does it well. That's the thing, though. He does it very well. But there's no point of reference in a kind of a world. Like Star Wars has kind of a point of reference in a real world. Like the X-Wing itself is like an airplane. But his fighters kind of look like airplanes, but they're so particular as not being as such. But he's good at what he does. And here's another picture, and a clamp is getting in the way. But this is the kind of work that he does.
Yeah.
A lot of detailed work. This is almost reminiscent of Ken Skiffington.
Yeah.
And he does take a lot of different model kits and uses parts from them.
Yeah.
He bashes and he scratch builds. And Ray Martin, are you sure that's a big enough clamp? He says, I'm seriously lacking in scale clamps. Can't say enough bad things about the gray plastic sheet. Horrible stuff, will not bond. So that's probably why he's using a big clamp. Let's see. Boy, Mr. Belmosen certainly has a flea market jackpot for $20, and you couldn't have three models any more different than this.
Yeah.
That certainly is a flea market jackpot. They're not related to each other hardly at all.
and the Airfix kit is 1960s.
Oh yeah.
The box is if you think about it, the Airfix symbol should be red.
Yeah, that's true.
So you can see how much that's faded.
Yeah.
Yep. Monty's number 32.
Okay. Yep.
A VIP transport car, probably from the war era, and then a Ford Escort, which is couldn't have enough headlights on that.
Need more headlights.
Yeah. That should be a fun build, though. That should be a fun build. Wow, Mr. Belmosen, good luck. Good luck. To me, as a top shelf stuff, Airfix Classic, nice find for all. Yep. Let's see. We're kind of like going over. I think we're having too good of a time. So if this is your first time joining us and want to see the past episodes, I think they're equally, mostly amusing, not very informative, but if you want, go to my channel to Scratch and Jack and sign up and like this Hangout. If you have any comments about it or perhaps have an idea for us to talk about, certainly I would be more than happy to listen. And I'd like to thank everybody today for joining us. And let's see. We had Heath. I'll just say, Heath, thanks for joining us. You got a little late for him. He had to go to Bitty Bites.
Yeah.
And A big guy like that needs his rest. And I'd like to thank James for joining us too. And you know what? Yeah, I guess the challenge is on. Well, it's going to take some time for me to cut windows open, but yeah. I think I'm going to follow your lead. Thanks. Because I did start a couple of years ago. I did start cutting windows out in one of the kits, and well, you see where it's at. I think I'm going to revisit that. So, Liam, thanks for joining us. Finally, one of these days you got to host one of these, right?
Oh, please, just ask. I'm always available. I don't charge much. My fees are quite low.
What's that?
My fees are quite low.
Well, how about next time?
Yeah, well,
all of a sudden he's got excuses.
No, I have to. I have to check with my social calendar.
Oh, sure, social calendar, sure. But let me know because I'd like to spend more. See, I'm supposed to be at the house right now working on it, so I can get this done. It would be nice if I had a string of 3 or 4 weekends so that I can get stuff done. You know.
No, not a problem, Jack. Not a problem.
Not that I don't enjoy being with you guys, because that's not it. I really do want to get this done so I can get doing stuff that I should be doing with this community. Anyway, Lou, thanks for stopping by too, and I'm glad you have a bathroom in your house.
Unisex.
What is it, a men's room or is it a woman's room? What is it?
It depends on who's in it.
The door's shut.
This is your host, Scratch and Jack. Thanks for joining us. See us in 2 weeks. Tomorrow night we have the Sunday Hangout to continue the conversations about scale modeling. Hope to see you then. Happy modeling, everyone. Good day.
Good day.